Good morning. My name is Lenore, and I'm so excited today to be here at the Yard Card Association Business Summit. I'm so thrilled that Chris Ann asked me to speak, and she asked me to speak on one of my favorite subjects, and that's creating incremental sales and increasing sales. And this sounds so easy and so simple, but it's things people don't do. And so I wanted just to sit here today and go through this with you and share some things that I have done that hopefully it will help you grow your business, especially your yard card business. It should give you some options of some things that you can do that you might not have thought about or might not have thought how easy it could be. You just automatically think, oh, that's more work. Oh, I'm just going to be doing one more thing. But the goal in incremental sales is to increase your sales without really increasing too much time and too much effort. And it's just another great customer service that you can provide your clients by solving a problem or an issue. So let's get started. I'm happy to be here. I hope you guys have been enjoying this summit. I have jumped into 3 or 4 different presentations and I've learned something in every one. So I hope you learned something this morning with me. And also, if you haven't gone on the speed networking, it is so cool. You go to the speed networking section. I know I'm totally off topic here, but you go to the speed network and you actually see other people in there and you can speak with them and talk with them just briefly, and then you can move on. You can jump back into a session or you can go somewhere else, or if you see somebody in a session, you can say, hey, meet me in speed networking, so that you can talk with them. It's just really cool. Check it out. It's one of the features of this summit. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lenore Ryan, and I have been in marketing for 20 plus years. I started working for large corporations and doing a lot of marketing, a lot of additional sales. I started at a newspaper when newspapers were still alive and kicking. And then I did a lot of events and functions and sold sponsorships. And then I became a mall manager and sold sponsorships and different things for all those things you see inside malls, which also too is slowing down a little bit. Then I moved over and I became a outside mall person where I actually worked and built things up in downtown Miami, and we did a lot of festivals and fun things. So we were always looking for ways to increase the value, to get customers to come there instead of here. So then in about 2014, my marketing director and I, we just decided we've been making money for so many other corporations. Why not try to do it for ourselves and focus on opening a small business and still doing what we love to do, selling sponsorships and creating value for businesses, but do it for small companies and do it on a much lower version and help small businesses boost. So that's how we got going. We opened up a company called Branding Alliance, and it was a marketing company. We still did a lot of events, a lot of functions, a lot of training, different things, really talking about customer service and increasing your sales and improving your customer service. And one of the things we ended up doing is we ended up working for a large NFL team doing their pregame. And we set up all these signs one day just before a football game. We wanted it to look like, you're in Miami and there's all this paparazzi here. And so we made these signs that just look like paparazzi, and we set it out so as you were walking in to turn in your tickets, it just looked like it was funny. It looked like you were getting your picture taken. Well, it was amazing how many people started asking us, hey, can you bring that over to my friend's house? Can you do this? Can you do that? So probably about 2014, 15, we started making our own yard cards. We went from this whole paparazzi look for the football team to where then we added in things for the Heat and we added in different things. So you could call us, and if you were a sports loving person, we would go set up in front of your house for your birthday or party or whatever. And I didn't even know that this was a real business at the time. I didn't know there was a whole industry. That was still 2014. It was very new to me. And so it just became a lot of fun. And then, of course, we ventured out into the children's birthday and different things. So we've been doing yard cards for a very long time, and we fell into it, and it became like a side arm of our business. And it was nice because then, unfortunately, when COVID hit, it went wild, and then we were very involved. We already had inventory, we already had stock, we already had customers. So we started reaching back out to everyone, saying, hey, celebrate your birthday this way. And then some of you may know me because 2 years ago, I created the program Signs of Kindness. And what this is this is where I asked all the yard card professionals around the US, and we actually ended up having a couple out of the country too, participate in Signs of Kindness. And this was just on World Kindness Day, which happens every November. And I just asked you to set up a fun, beautiful, nice display. Signs of kindness. Just make people smile. Go by, a business, or go by your front yard or wherever you are, just to make people smile for signs of kindness. And it actually really took off. The first year, I think we had 67 yard card companies participate. And then the next year, we were a little bit shy of 100. I want to say, and this is only for the people who signed up and registered, I think we were at 97. So I'm hoping there were 3 more out there that maybe didn't sign up that participated. And so we hit the 100. And again, we'll be doing Signs of Kindness again this November. And I hope you'll think about joining us. We have some kits that you can order. But really, it's just whatever you have. You don't have to buy anything new. We did come up with some signage and different things that we have at really, really inexpensive pricing because we worked with the vendors and they partnered with us. So if you haven't heard of Signs of Kindness, check it out. I'm sure you'll see it on Chris Ann's Yard Card Association page and my page, Yard Cards Grow Your Business. And I invite you to join us. There also is a page on Facebook that's called Signs of Kindness. It's strictly for this one-day event. So, right now it's kind of a slow page to watch, but we'll probably be ramping up in mid-September to really focus on November. So check that out. Like that page if you want to join us. And really, it's free. And we actually gave classes last year on how to get your community involved. So just check it out. It's a lot of fun. Also, in addition, I run in our business, we have a strong photo booth company and we do a lot of balloons. I love the balloons. It's just a whole nother creative side. And, as I've slowed down and left the corporate world, I just love that I can be creative and have fun. So you'll see lots of things with balloons and ideas, and creativity is what we really like. So what are incremental sales? This is what we want you to think about to increase your sales. If you're making $100 yard card display and you're getting paid $100 for that day, that's your base. That is your baseline. That is your bread and butter. That is what you make. That is key. And that is most important. You need to keep up with that. You need to keep managing that. You need to keep having customers call you. You need to reach back out to your customers. But what can you do to take that $100 sales and make it $125? That doesn't cost you much of anything, doesn't really add time to it. You're already having to invoice the customer. You're already having to track what their celebration is, whether it's a birthday or an anniversary or whatever it could be. You're already tracking all of that. So what else can you do? So some ideas that are just quick to come to mind is, can you add lights? Is it a nighttime party to where you can get some of those solar lights or different lights out there? There's so many good ones now, even battery ones that you can set up that run for like 6 hours and they can light it up. Once you buy that once, you should be able to sell it over and over, and that should be something you could have in your inventory. One of the other things, I don't know if you can see it, but we just bought these small little speakers. They're battery speakers. There it is. And I'm going to tell you, we got them at Five Below. They were $5.53. That's tax. That's everything. So now we've added to where we can have sound inside of our presentations. And we've done different things where we have the paparazzi. We just have a recording of cameras, clicking, and some we found on the internet, some we just stood around and recorded ourselves, which was kind of funny. But you can do music, you can do the happy birthday song, you can do sounds that you make on your own. We did a retirement for a fire chief a couple of weeks ago, and we just had the sound of the siren going, and then we did the sound of the warning or the signal that they get for when they know they have a call coming in, and we just had that played in their yard. And we didn't have it constant, but we had it playing at different times, and I think we set it up to where like every 3 hours it would play again, so it caught your attention. So those are a lot of little different things that you can do that really can add to your sales. We charge $22 to add that sound. So now we've added almost 25% to our daily rate that we're going to get for that display. And that's great. And these little things add up. And maybe if they do the sound, maybe they'll also do the lights. And if you have these things together, it can really, really add up. And that's what you want. Those extra little things that add to your baseline really helps. So we want you to get the most out of every single customer. And thinking about it, some people do not like to plan parties. I personally love it. I could do it every day. You give me a party, you give me a friend, I'm planning. I'm there. I'm ready to go. So, but not everybody likes that, especially men. Teenagers don't know what to do. They just don't know things that are there that's even like the latest trends and what's happening. So these are some things you can do and add to your sales. So I'm just going to show you some examples I have here. There is a small, and I mean she's a very small florist, about a half a mile from my office. And so we went and met with her, and we were like, how can we partner together? And I help you build your business and you help me build mine. And being that we're, three ladies sitting there talking, she gave us special rates to where we can add flowers to our yard card displays. And it's amazing how many men will have a happy birthday to their wife or to their mother. And then we say, that's all outside and that's beautiful, but what are you doing for her inside? What is she going to see as she's walking around the house? And so we have these pricings all set and ready to go. We have 3 different styles. We're not turning into a florist. We don't want to be a big hoopla-doo with florists, but we have 3 different things to choose from. And I bet you 80% of the time, I can sell a man a woman's birthday wish or a Valentine's Day, I love you, and I can then tell him about these flowers, and they almost always buy. And because the florist is so close, we have it set up. I send her an email. I tell her which one we want. I mark it up. I invoice my client. So I get paid. I pay her. And literally, she's so close. One of us is going to one another's office. So either I pick up or she drops off. Now that does add a little bit of time, but it doesn't add more than 5 minutes because she's so close to me. It's a win-win for both of us. She gets a sale. I increase my sales. She potentially has, a new client because I do let her leave her card on the florist item. So when it goes into the house, the card is from her florist. And then turnaround is when she's doing a kid's birthday or birthday thing, she always mentions the yard cards. She knows my pricing. She has a special rate for me. She marks it up and away we go. And she will come pick them up and she uses my yard card. She sets them up. It's just something that's worked out. Now, maybe you don't want to give your inventory to somebody. I was really nervous about it at the beginning, but after the second time, they came back cleaner from her than what my kids clean them. So I was super happy. Another thing is, as I mentioned, I love balloons. So at this is for a graduation, and this is a purple and red school. And the mom wanted helium balloons all inside her living room, just to add. So we did the graduation display outside with the yard cards. Well, right now there's a huge helium shortage. So I'm like, I can't really help you with that. You would need to go somewhere where you can find helium. And right now in our area, even the party cities don't have helium. So I told her, let me do a faux finish here. So those are all blown up with air. I believe there was 44 of them, and we just took a really small glue dot and we stuck it up on the ceiling, and that's what is displayed there. We had the ribbons hanging down, so it looks like they're all helium balloons floating around. As the door opened, because the glue dot is so small, the balloons moved a little. They jiggled, they wiggled, so it really did look real. And that was something that you can easily add. And the hard cost for that, if you buy the pump, it's probably $1, or if you venture and you buy a professional pump off of Amazon, I think my first pump was like $19. It's very inexpensive. And, so it takes about 10 minutes to blow up 44 balloons. We threw them in a bag. We went over there. And actually, I had my daughter setting up the yard cards out front while I was sticking these balloons up. We finished about the same time. So because there was two of us, our setup time was the same. So it was just one of those things that you can add on. And the mom was thrilled. I solved a whole decorating process inside her house and outside of her house, all with one thing. And that's what customers love. They want you to solve their problems and just do it for them. Some customers just want nothing to do with it. They want their energy for the party. I want my energy to make them happy and make the party look beautiful. This next one is just a funny little odd thing. I do the Boo, You've Been Booed yard card campaign, and I have lots of ghosts and stuff, and we created our own. I actually had a friend who actually drew up ours because I wanted them all to be different. There's a lot of competitors down here in South Florida, so I wanted to make sure mine looked different than everybody else's. So she made up a whole bunch. Well, then we decided we were going to take all the extra space on the 4x8 cards, and we were just going to do smaller ones. And these are probably 4 inches wide, maybe. And because we knew we weren't going to use them as yard cards, we didn't care which way they were posted on the plastic. So we were able to fill all the gaps. We printed these off, and this is actually a lunch bag. The black and white dots that you see, or the white with black dots, those are lunch bags. We bought them from the dollar store. It's one package of lunch bags. I believe there's 8 lunch bags in there. So that was $1. And you literally fold and pinch them together. Actually, if you look on my YouTube channel, Lights, Camera, Selfies, you can actually see how to make these. And then we took these leftover odds and ends, the pieces that would have been cut and left on the printer floor of all these little boos, and we stick those in the middle. We add a piece of yarn to the back. And so for less than $1.50, we started selling these wreaths with our boo, our You've Been Booed. So we hang this on the front door. We put up our boo display. This stays. This wreath we were selling last year for $24 because it stays. And because this bag that we get for the lunch, it is a little, it's not plastic. It's definitely paper, but it has a coating on it. The one that I had on my front door lasted the whole month of October. I think I put it up around September 20th because I wanted to grab attention, and it lasted. So think about that. That's an extra $24. We actually were getting $70 for our You've Been Booed, and we were getting $24 for these. And we actually had customers order these when they weren't even using the yard cards. So these are something simple. I made these while I was watching TV. So to me, it wasn't a hardship. It wasn't, yes, it takes time. It took me, probably an hour to go to the Dollar Tree, buy the bags, get the glue sticks. There are some staples, very simple things. I'm telling you, it's not more than $1.50. But to mark something up to $24 and it matched their yard display, it's pretty cool. And we had a whole bunch of different ones. We did white with black, orange and black. We did a bunch. And then this last one, because I use a local printer to print some of my signs, I actually made these graduation signs where I was able to input their pictures. And I was able to sell just this 2021 with the pictures inside of it for $95 to print this one. And luckily, we were able to get 4 of these on a 4x8 sheet. And so with the cost of what I print on the 4x8 sheet, which was about $70, after I sold one, the other 3 were share profit. So you got to look at things like that. It's still the same amount of time. Once I sell one, it's the same amount of time and same amount of effort. And I would only put them up if they were also doing a graduation display. Now this one was for a party, so she bought a balloon column and the sign. So that was a little different, but it's little things like that you can increase and add to it. So here's another thing. You need to develop a relationship with your client. And, I joke around like maybe we should pay 20 questions, but you need to know what the customer wants and what they're trying to do. And so for this customer, this was a gentleman that was in the service and he wanted to surprise his mom that he remembered her birthday. So he reached out to me, he called, we spoke, and we decided to put up this display. And I don't do the big fancy displays. Mine are all $100. That's what it is. I just put a bunch out there. I'm not into the tall, fancy ones. The yard cards are great, but I like to focus on the balloons and the other stuff. So on this, you can see my displays aren't anything spectacular. I wouldn't compare with half of the other people that we've seen or spoken today, but it's there. But I like to do incremental sales. So I got $100 for this. He was also coming home that day to surprise her for dinner, but he didn't want her to know. So with that, I said, well, how about I write a birthday card from you? You tell me what you want to say. I'll write it. I'll put it in an envelope. And as you can see, I left it here on her mailbox. I got the card, which I had a bunch of birthday cards that I've had from whatever. You buy them, you don't use them. Found a birthday card, wrote what we wanted. And then I made this small little balloon flower, which the balloons are like 7 cents each. So I have 14 cents into that plus the card, but I charged him $7 for it. And I put that up there. So she actually read the card while I was still there and was crying because it was his words. And she was so surprised because she didn't expect him to be home. She wanted to see him and that wasn't in her mind going to happen. And then surprise, later in the day, he did show up. But she didn't guess he was. She really thought with that card that was it. So learning my customer, learning what his goals were, learning the things that he was coming across as, I was able to help him in a different way. And this wasn't a big increase. I got the 100 for the yards cards and I got $7 for the card. But, it's still $107 compared to just 100. Really didn't take me any more time or effort. And maybe you can get more. I don't know. That's just what I threw out at him. So we want you to learn what your client's objectives are by asking questions. And as I learned from the same client before, the gentleman that was in the service, I talked to him and I knew he wanted her to be happy. He wanted her not to suspect he was coming home. So when you ask a lot of questions, ask them, who's it for? How have you celebrated in the past? Is there anything unique about that? Just different things like that. You really can benefit from that. And you can then really help them with anything that they want and to add on. And of course, I did offer him the flowers and he just said, no, that's too much. She knows I wouldn't do all that. Well, see, that's him. I would have done the flowers. But if your son or child doesn't do that much for you on your birthday, you don't want to also overkill it. So it just works out. So learning what the objectives are of your client is key. You also want to be consistent. And I actually have a catalog where I have everything pictured, and I don't have any yard cards on the front because that's not our main function, but every section has a page, and we do have actually 2 pages for yard cards. But this is my 2022 trends. I do add a page in and take a page out as the holidays are coming. Right now in this one, graduation was in there, but that's going to come out soon. And then it will go back in November for the end of the year graduations and stuff. But if you have these trends and you have your pricing out there, you can know what it is and you can quickly answer questions, or you can even, sometimes I just send this out to clients when I send my first email to them. And I'm just like, thank you for your yard card order. If there's anything else I can help you with, go ahead and look here and let me know what you think. And, it's amazing how just having it in a nice, clean little brochure how it works out and how people buy more. And they literally then can click on my website. They know exactly where it is, and boom, they can place the order. And again, it's no time for me. It's all on my website. So if you'd like to get a copy of this, I would be happy to send you a copy. Just send me a private message. My email is lenore@lightscameraselfies.com. There's no E on Lenore. It's just Lenore, Lenor, and I'll be happy to send that to you. So you also want to utilize your social media to increase your sales. Now, yes, you're like, oh, of course, Lenore, we put things on social media all the time. But are you putting things on social media that's going to increase your sales? And so, in addition to putting your big, beautiful display that you have out there, yes, I'm not saying stop doing that. That's great. And I follow a bunch of you, and I'm still amazed at some of the yard card displays that are out there. But make sure you showcase your yard card displays. But then maybe in another post or on a day where maybe there's not much going on, you can re-show that picture that you have, and then you can show your add-on. So like for me, you saw I took a picture of that little card on the mailbox. So I don't remember when, but I'm sure I posted on social media after the fact, and I put the yard card up there, and then I inserted, and maybe in an overlay or a side picture, the card. And then I only wrote about, let me write a handwritten card for you to show your child or your mother that you love them. And so those little things, don't forget, it's the little incremental sales that you want to have these people know, hey, she'll write a card for me. Oh, she'll get me a thing of flowers to deliver. And so just add the photo and write a brief description. This will actually build excitement, with your clients. And also ask them, when you see your client, every time, ask them, can you post something? Can you tag me? I also ask for reviews at the end, but I do that and I ask them to post pictures. So if you look on my Google, my business and stuff, you'll see pictures that customers have put on there. And then I usually go back and ask them, hey, can I use this in my social media? And I don't think I've ever had anybody tell me no. But showcase the add-on stuff you can do. Yes, you have your day-to-day, you have your baseline, your bread and butter. Keep showing that. I would do that 95% of the time. But every now and then, show these little specialty items that you can do, or these add-on things, so that your customers see what it is. Or maybe somebody in your neighborhood sees it and maybe they'll just call for that. And I know it's not a big sale, but you can then take it, talk with them, ask the questions, and get your yard cards in there for that. The other thing that's fun with social media is behind the scenes. People love to see that. And yes, we love to see the yard cards too, but we also like to see you behind the scenes. So maybe if you're making one of these add-ons, maybe if you're handwriting one of these cards, you do a little thing like, what's his name? The comedian on NBC, he does those thank you notes and he does the pin to the paper. And maybe you can do something fun like that when you're writing a birthday card. Or if you pick up the flowers, maybe you show a picture of you walking into the florist and seeing the flowers there and being like, hey, this is for Susan, and Bob bought them with his happy birthday yard cards, and just showcase that. Do the behind the scenes. Yesterday, I posted just a behind the scenes of what my favorite balloon column is. It doesn't have to be long. I've gotten more views on that than I have on other things. I think I'm already up to like 67 views on it, and I have more likes, which the more views you get and the more likes, the more people are going to see it. So don't always stick to the same thing. Just try. And if you're shy behind the screen, if you're shy in front of the camera, don't be in front of the camera. Stand there and talk and wave your hand, point, use your hands, be there, but don't have to be on there. And sooner or later, you'll start to get comfortable, or get your client to showcase, get your client to be your Vanna White, and you can talk about it. So just different things like that. The other thing I want you to think about is we're all in these trade pages on Facebook, which is fun. You learn a lot. You just get a lot. I get a lot out of them. But remember, you shouldn't spend more than 20% of your time on social media in those groups. You really need to spend your time in your local groups, your mom's groups, your high school groups, your local community groups, so that you can be posting there and answering things. Get your name, get your business name on those pages as much as possible. You'll be surprised how many people will be like, oh, I remember seeing Lights, Camera, Selfies. She does yard cards. Let me call her. And it might not even be an ad or a promotion, but they see your name over and over and over, and they just feel like you're a community leader. You're involved in the community. You just definitely want to show that you're there, that this is your hometown community. And if they have certain days, my city, they have a day on Tuesday. You can post whatever you want about your business only on Tuesdays, which I kind of like now. At first I was like, that's kind of weird. But now I like it because the rest of the week you're not being bombarded with ad sales on this one page. So know what day you can do it, post on it, and just keep up with that. And the last thing, and this is something that a lot of people overlook, make sure on all your social media that you're fine. You can be fine, that your findability, which I know is not a word, but in your Instagram profile, make sure your city is in that profile. And, you know, what you don't want is, I live in Hollywood, Florida. I don't want somebody from Jacksonville, Florida, 4 hours away, that saw something that they love calling me. You know, it's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my effort. And yes, it's nice that I can go on the Facebook pages and say, hey, I have a lead for somebody in Jacksonville. But really, that's just a time stealer for me. So make sure when you post that you always list your city. And so every hashtag for me, if you look at my pictures when I'm doing Instagram, my hashtag, the last one I put on every one is hashtag Hollywood, Florida. I want people to know where I am and how to find me. Plus, if they're putting in yard cards and they put in Hollywood, I want it to pop up. I want to be there. So use your social media to increase your sales and to promote yourself. But think about these other little things that you can do for that. So now everybody seems to be good. I notice on here the pictures I see, it's amazing. You guys are good. But it's time just to get to be a little bit better. And then when you've conquered that, you want to be the best. You want your business to be personal. You want people to know you as you. And it's funny because I was at a chamber event and somebody introduced me as Lenore's Balloons. That's not the name of my company, but for her, that's how she remembers me, which is fine. But you want to be the one that makes everybody happy. You want to be the one that they can rely upon, that they can use. You want to be able to serve them, and you want to solve their problems. So be the best you can be. And always, while you're out and about, wear your best smile. Showcase. Be the first one to say hi when somebody walks into the room. Just always be the upbeat one. I don't care how bad it is at home or if you ran out of gas getting there. By the time you get there, put it on. Get that face on. Get to be super happy. So I want you to create a plan. And I don't want you to jump into this and be like, oh, I have 45,000 things to do, and now she wants me to create something else. I want you just to think about and determine how your yard card business can increase through small incremental sales. So why don't you start with one new thing that you add into your process each month? And you'll be amazed how by the end of a year, you'll have 12 options, 12 additional things that you can sell with your yard cards. Don't go overboard. So this month, You've Been Booed is coming up. A lot of you are going to be doing that. So why don't you start with that one? The first plan is, are your yard cards clean? Have you made your flyers? Have you done all that? Then add in, hey, I can make these wreaths. You can go and watch my program or my little video. And you can make these, and then you can start selling these with them. And that's one thing. And just see how many people take it on for this one season. You need to plan now. You can create and, start to implement in September. Be ready to go by October. So you're not drained. You're not rushing around last minute or the night before you're supposed to start making these wreaths and different things. Plan now. Get it going now. So planning is key. And then when you're done planning that one, boom, if you like the wreath and you did well, then come up with a Thanksgiving one. If that's the only thing you do to increase your sales, remember, for me, that was a 22% increase in my daily sales for one house. So think about that. Just think of what it can be, but always remember it needs to be beyond your main product. So this was my first rate sheet on how I started going with more incremental sales. And I would, once somebody talked with me or spoke with me, then I would hand this to them and leave it behind. Now I do so much more on the internet. I probably would have emailed them to it. But as you can see, I had my yard cards, and I don't know if there's a date on here or not, but it's definitely a while ago. You can see like I was charging $90 for one day, $145 for 2 days. And that's the other thing. I offer 2 days for every time I set something up because most people buy it. It's easier when I tell them I'll drop it off at 8 p.m. tonight and pick it up at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. They're like, well, yeah, but her birthday, can we go the next day? So a lot of times I get that second day. So throw it out there. You can just see if they take it. If not, it's no hardship on you. Then as you can see in this next one, we just added a balloon enhancement. We added these little tiny columns and, went from there. Then you can see we went from doing the yard cards outside to we added a bigger balloon display. And because we're strong in balloons, we were able to add more. But this is how I started. I started with 4. All pretty simple, easy going. One really was nothing. When I said, okay, my first thing's going to be this 2-day option, that's really no time or effort whatsoever. So this is the biggest tip. Like, if you don't learn anything from me, sorry, but this is the one thing I want you to think about. Paid money is forgotten money. So you meet with a client and you get them to order your yard card. They pay you. They pay you your retainer or your deposit, or they pay you your whole fee, however you run your business. It's done. It's paid for. They've gotten that invoice. It's over with. Now you want to reach out a day before, 2 days before, and that's where you can do these add-ons. So then when they get another invoice for $24, it's not a hardship for them because they're not seeing the 100 or the 145 or whatever they paid first. They're now just seeing this add-on, and it's like, oh, what's another $8? What's another 24? People buy more when the invoices come separately. So keep this in mind. Paid money is forgotten money. I love that saying. I do that for all aspects, whether I'm doing my photo booth, yard cards, balloons, and even marketing services. I throw a bunch of things in after they've originally paid. So I just wanted to point out quickly, this is my salsa photo booth. A lot of people were asking me about this in some of the speed networking. So I just threw the information in here. This is the one I used, but I did go to the photo booth conference in February, and I saw the Epic Print Concepts photo booth, which is very cool. Hers has lights and hers has features, and hers is the lightest weight one I've ever lifted. So before you jump into this one, which is great, you're welcome to jump into this one, but also look at hers because it's great. It comes in a nice case. The lights she has the ring light like this one, but she also has lights within the stand. And I also have a handheld selfie. So sometimes this handheld one, I actually will give them with the yard cards for a fee, and they'll pay $50, $60 to have a selfie handheld thing that they have at their parties for 3 hours on the night the yard cards are there. So just think about different things. And I'm still very excited to have been here today. I'm excited that I was asked. This is all my contact information. If you want to reach out to me, feel free. I will say I'm not the best on Messenger. I don't really look at it that often. So email me, whatever you would like. I will get back to you. It might take me 3 or 4 days before I see you on Messenger, but once I see you, I will get back to you. I also sent this presentation to Chris Ann. So if you're in your paid ticket, you can actually get a hard copy of it or a PDF of it so you can see it on your own computer. And, I really hope all of you sign up to be part of Signs of Kindness. And one other thing, I do have a class on this Thinkific website, and I teach different things. I just took off my class on increasing yard card sales for graduations. I did a class on that. Right now I have a class on news releases and how to write them. They're all very inexpensive. I think they're all under $25, depending on which one I have going up. I put them up, I take them down. So if you want, you can visit that and check it out. It's not an arm and a leg, and I hope you think that it's valuable information. So again, thank you so much. I am going to jump back into the speed networking. So if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to reach out. Find me there. Find me on one of my sites. I seem to be all over the place. And one of the things I don't have on here is another Facebook page I have Yard Cards Grow Your Business. And so you're welcome to check that out too. And I hope to see you in the future. Thank you very much. And I hope you learned something. Bye-bye.